We are live. Welcome back, everyone, to Odys Talks. It's episode number 12. Oh my gosh, we've been doing this for so long already. We've surpassed Odys podcast, which we started last year, like in August or September. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, live streams are much easier to do and much more. I don't know, much more interactive. I'd say. Anyway, so obviously this live stream is hosted by Odys Global, your one-stop shop for age domains, premium domain names, and website as of recently. Uh, so yeah, if you're looking for a domain with a great backlink link profile, great history, no abuses, or any other funky stuff, welcome to Odys Global. Uh, we'll talk a little bit about this further on. And if you have anything in your inventory that pretty much collects virtual dust, you can try and sell it via Odys. We have this sell your domain service, which you can access by going to sell.odys.global and submit your domain for review. So yeah, one thing to note here is that our due diligence process is very strict. So make sure that your domain is clean in all aspects if you want to sell it. Anyway, today we're joined by Rick Zulo, our Odys mentor, Carl Kanger, who's one of the SEO Estonia hosts and the head of sales and marketing at Smash Digital, and the founder of uh, oh, I'm sorry.
Inleaf.
And Leaf. Yeah, I remember
It
it's
gets a
and
lot of people,
something
don't
just
worry.
got confused. Yeah, founder of Leaf, Adam Cronister. Today I'm gonna give him a minute to introduce themselves in a second. So yeah, everyone, welcome back. Let's
Yeah.
kick it off. Where's this cute media thing? It doesn't start.
You probably have it memorized by now. You could do it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
Actually, that was very good. You nailed
Oh,
it.
That's
thank you,
solid.
thank you. All right, guys. Yeah, welcome to this live stream. Rick, welcome back. Carl, Adam, it's awesome to have you on the show. So go ahead and introduce yourselves. Just highlight anything you'd love to. Adam, why don't you go first?
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, like mentioned, my name's Adam Cronister. I run a digital marketing agency called Enleaf, based out of the West Coast of the United States. Been doing digital marketing, particularly SEO, for well over a decade. Still loving it. Have days where I don't love it as much, but then there's those days where you hit the home runs and you're in love again. So that's where we're at. And yeah, excited to be here. Excited to talk some SEO shop and connect with y'all. So
Cool. Carl?
All right, so name's Carl Kanger. Started doing SEO in 2008 around the financial crisis, and started dabbling with affiliate sites. Kind of back then, you had the made for AdSense sites and stuff like that. And since then, pretty much dabbled in everything from e-commerce to software to agencies. And currently have two main projects. One is Smash Digital, where we build really high-end links, and then Smash VC, where we buy parts of businesses. So previously, we tried to acquire companies. Now we just buy parts of them, let's say 20 to 40%, and then try to help them scale using the agency. And that's about it.
Awesome. Rick.
Okay. Yeah, Rick Sulo, glad to be back here. Thanks for inviting me again. I'm a Otis mentor, and I've been doing digital marketing for about 10 years. The last 3 or 4 really heavily focused on SEO. Yeah, it's been exciting. I'm learning a lot from just being part of Otis and being part of these talks because I learned a lot from our guests. It's great to be here, and I can't wait to hear what everyone's got to say.
Awesome. Thank you guys for introducing yourselves. And I think this deserves a big round of applause. And it doesn't go live again. So, yeah, anyway, just before we started the live stream, Rick was saying something about the new process of approaching due diligence in the Odys marketplace. So why don't we start with this? And
Okay.
you wanted to tease it a little bit.
Yeah, I am going to tease it just a little bit. Alex is going to talk more about this in the coming weeks. But we had a mentors meeting last week, and it isn't so much due diligence as it is evaluating the age
Okay.
domains, because there seems to be a lot of discrepancy, and people are saying, well, okay, this domain's $2,000. Why 2,000? Why not 1,000? Why not 3,000? And so we're starting to come up with a standardized method of evaluating these domains. And again, Alex will talk to him a little about this a little more, but basically it comes down to a few factors. One of them is certainly the backlink profile, the number of referring domains. And, not only that, we look at the ones of the high authority domains, the ones that are specifically niche relevant to whatever that domain is. And the age of the domain plays into it a little bit too. But then also, sort of the brandability of the domain. So that's something that I didn't really consider too much myself. I always look at the backlinks, but then Alex was explaining last week that, the domain name relevance is good too, the brandability of it. And so he's going to talk more about that. But I just think it's really important to sort of establish these criteria, because otherwise people are like, they're hesitant because they're like, well, how do I know that's what it's worth? Well, now we're going to be able to show you exactly why that's what it's worth. So stay tuned. I think in the next couple of weeks, you'll have a lot more confidence in the pricing of our domains.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to tackle, with all of you here is, while I was preparing for this live stream, I was going through your social media profiles, obviously, right? Just to get snippets of the things you do. And one thing I noticed, I think it was Carl's LinkedIn profile. Uh, it was mentioning something about digital property. And we actually at Odys, we actually approach age domains as like digital property in particular, in particularly alluding to like real estate, like domains are your digital real estate, right? But our domains are not just like the new property that you just bought and have to put in order, just do the paint the walls and do the fixtures and everything. You just have to bring your own furniture, I don't know, maybe your sink or something like that, and off you go living in it. And all of them are located in like premium locations wherever in some of
The
the
best
best cities of
neighborhoods.
the best
Yeah.
neighborhoods. That's correct. So yeah, what are your perspectives on this concept of like domains as digital property, and is it actually like relevant for you to approach it like that or not? So Carl.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I talk about digital property, I mean mostly websites, but I do the same thing for domains. I think they're kind of interchangeable. So especially with domain names, I started buying up a lot of Estonian domain names way back in the day when they launched their kind of expired auction thing and no one knew about it. And that's just because they're finite. There's only so many like good names you're ever going to have. So like if you kind of look over a bigger timeline, let's say 10 years, 15 years, like it's kind of inevitable the best kind of brandable names or kind of keyword names are going to go up in value eventually. And then when I look at it in terms of websites, you always have, if you look at a business like Odys or an agency, of course you have to put in work day to day and like maintain it. But with a well-built, high authority site, oftentimes it can be like real estate. Like you need kind of a management company to come and do some cleanups and come fix up the AC. But for the most part, it is kind of passive. And I try and kind of look at SEO the same way as well, where every single page on your website is like a property. That's what I tell clients on the sales calls. The more content you create, each one is like a little house you can rent out because it's going to keep bringing kind of traffic and traffic sales and leads.
Yeah. I was just while you were talking, I was thinking that while well, in our case, H domains are like this property that you buy and have to bring your own stuff. Websites, on the other hand, are like fully Yeah.
A fully furnished home.
Yeah, a fully furnished home. Exactly. This is what I was trying to say. So yeah, I'm totally there with you. Adam, what do you think?
Yeah, we kind of package things the same way. Like a lot of times when we're talking to clients, we use the real estate analogy, which is funny because on the side I do a little bit of real estate investing, so it's an easy analogy for me. But yeah, I use that a lot. A lot of times when I'm talking to clients and prospects, I'm like, look, at the end of the day, whether it's SEO or pay-per-click marketing or social media marketing or whatever it is, like we're trying to get the most real estate, the most prominent real estate. I like your guys' approach generally to like looking at the brandability of links too. That's something like when we're doing like link acquisition, I think that we do that not everybody does. Like looking at actually, what is the brand? We actually go sometimes as far as looking at if we're going to acquire links, or in the same vein, acquire like age or existing domains. We want to see what is the current or previous, brand essence, right? Um, does a link that we're acquiring, for instance, have a good social media profile? Does it look like it's something that someone just threw up as a placeholder, or maybe more of a PBN-esque type link, or is it a real brand that we want to acquire equity from? So, yeah, I love that analogy. It's one we use quite a bit, and I think it just makes a lot of sense. It helps people better understand and relate, the
Mhm.
digital landscape to something
Yeah,
tangible, really.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think also, I mean, if you want to think of it as far as an investment, I mean, there are two ways in real estate where you can like either rent it and have a monthly income,
Exactly.
or you can flip it and make a profit from that. And I think digital real estate is the same way. Digital properties are the same.
Yep. Yeah. And Google and all of this they're just like big neighborhoods, right? And if you can have the biggest house on the neighborhood, like everyone's going to look to you as an authority. So
Hmm.
Well, that's a cool analogy. Hadn't heard that one previously. Yeah. And Adam, you're also going to speak at the SEO Estonia conference,
correct. Yeah.
and well, your presentation is going to tackle AI,
Yes.
Oh
which
Yes.
boy.
which is big. I mean,
The new
every
shiny
time
toy, right?
new shiny toy that a lot of people put to take advantage of. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, could you give us a snippet of what it's going to be about?
Yeah. So really, what I'm trying to do in my talk, kind of unpack how we as an agency are using AI in our processes, and so, and also giving away a couple tips on how myself and our team have, I think, kind of leveled up on getting better with, prompt development. Engineering is the buzzword we're hearing a lot
Hmm.
about. So I kind of go through a process which I've called prompt hijacking. It sounds a lot more like crazy and black hat than it is, but it's one of those things that's, when you see it, you're like, oh, that's so simple yet so powerful. So that's something kind of lifting the hood on that. And then also something, I don't know if I coined this term, but there's this idea of prompt stacking, right? Using prompts and automation and systemization to leverage stuff. So I'll be kind of unpacking some of the tools that we built and used are using internally. Some of those, just to give you like a teaser, are we have a less on the SEO side, still marketing, but a brand style guide generator that allows us to take a client's input and create an automated brand style guide. So we can use that as like a lead magnet. We have a long form content generator, and it seems like everybody has a content creation tool, but we like to do things our way. So we have that hopefully will be kind of outlining, and then a topical authority keyword research tool that we've also built. But at the end of the day, my hope with that talk is to stir some ideas on how you can be leveraging AI in your own business to shortcut what it is you do, day in and day out, because that's
Yeah.
really how we've leveraged that so far. And we have, probably 4 or 5 more processes in the oven as we speak. So
Yeah, awesome.
Adam, can I ask a question about that? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
I've heard of some people like using AI to teach AI. In other words, like, sort of uh, teaching itself how to get better prompts or
Sure.
better output. Is there something to that? I mean, I don't really understand how that might work, or is that, am I just hearing some people, making up stuff about AI that doesn't really?
I mean, in some respect, like sometimes when I'm building a process, I'll give you an example. The other day, I was just kind of having fun, and Carl might appreciate this. I know he spends probably a lot more time at the gym than I do, but I was just curious. So I was like, I went to, and this is normally how I start building processes. I start, at the general like prompt level. So, open chat GBT, and I said, what questions you uh, would you need to answer in order to create me a customized workout plan, right?
Yeah.
And it provided me a whole list of questions like, what is your age? Are you open to changing your meal plan? A lot of really smart questions that I had never thought of, right? And then I answered those questions, right? And then it provided me like an extremely in-depth plan. I mean, this could have came from a professional health coach, right?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's step
We're all in
one, and
trouble.
that same general process is what we use. But then I use a tool called Chat GBT for Sheets to take it to the next level, right? I take that general framework, and with what Chat GBT for Sheets does, and I encourage everyone to check this tool out because it's changed the game for us. But it allows us to now take multiple prompts and connect them just like you would connect cells in a normal sheet. So, for instance, with our content outline process, we have essentially a baseline where a variable persona, a variable tone of voice, a variable, this and that. So we can set essentially a templatized element. So, for instance, we can put our keyword in there, and then we can change that whole long form content output on the fly just by switching a variable. So we can change it from first person to third person. We can change the persona from, a mechanic to a pawn shop owner. And that way we can create systems that are repeatable but customizable. So that's kind of what we're doing right now, is starting out at the general level, playing, with what you have with Chat GBT, but then building it into a process that is somewhat dynamic. So
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, thank you. That
awesome.
answers the question.
Yeah, quite curious that for the past, for the past 3 live streams, this one included, we had like Vaibhav Sharda that founded Autoblogging AI. Last time we had um, Ariel Phoenix, who came up with this bulk publishing AI tool.
yeah.
And now, yeah, so people in the industry are like scaling things up with AI, taking advantage of it and building tools. If at first, for example, when it was during the time of the SEO Mastery Summit in Saigon, everyone was pretty much, well, not most people at least, were pretty much stressed out about ChatGPT
Oh
and the
yeah, I
things
was.
it could
Yeah.
do. Today, it seems like a lot of people have settled down and found their way of putting it to use for their advantage, which is really cool. And by the way, Rick, last time you were on Odys Talks, you were uh, yeah, you were one of the people who were saying, well, I haven't been actually trying this at that point, haven't yet like
Well, I
look
was
into how.
explaining I was explaining sort of my road with the
Yeah.
AI. Like 6 months ago, I was like, I was playing with it. It was when it was the 3.0 or whatever, and it was like, yeah, it's a pretty fun tool, but it's not really going to help me. Then like, boom, as soon as the 3.5 and the 4, I mean, then all of a sudden, wow, this is a game changer. Now, you have to use it or you'll fall behind. I want to ask everybody. I mean, do you think we have a sort of a limited window of opportunity here before, I don't know, the general public catches up and this isn't really a tool that just, SEOs and marketers and tech people are using, or is it something that, because I remember Mads last time was on the podcast with me, and he said, if you're not in this, if you're not pursuing like niche sites and domain acquisitions now, he says you're gonna fall behind pretty quick here, because this is gonna change fast. And I just want to hear if anybody else thinks that too. Like there's kind of a window here where this thing's just gonna explode, and then like none of this is gonna matter anymore. I don't know. Carl, what do you think?
Yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance we're gonna break the internet at some point. But I do think that
there you go.
I think the window. I think the window is a little bit larger than most people seem to think. Like, it's not like we need to panic and, build something in the next 3 years, but, like 5, 10, 15 years, I'd say more 10 to 15 years kind of timeline. And the reason I think this is I flash back to, so I started SEO basically as a kid. I remember I started when I was 12, I think around 14. So that would have been, let's say 2010, 2011, when we're using automated link building. Back then, everything was kind of black hat. And I remember being 14. I don't know how to code. I'm not very technical. And my kind of KPI for link building was how many links per minute can I build? What do you guys think that number was back in the day?
Per minute?
No idea.
I mean, is it more than one? I mean, is it one even? I mean,
so in GSA, it was the actual metric on the tool as well, the way it measured it. And I got up to 300,000 links per minute. And obviously, and I figured out how to run, 7 virtual servers and private proxies, and like made this whole thing. I had 3 computers at home running 24/7, just destroying the internet, right? And we saw how that played out. It took Google a while to catch on, but they eventually did. So, but like I had no technical background. I don't know how to build an AI tool. I'm not even very good at this prompt thing, right? But then you take something like, you can already do this in Google Sheets. You already have AI tools we've seen that can make websites, can make video, can make images, can make text, can come up with keywords, topical plans. Like all of everything here is automatable. Like, and if you look at AI content, to be fair, a lot of it is better than 99% of writers out there. So now you're gonna have some super geek with a supercomputer who's gonna figure out a sequence of 727 prompts to build the perfect niche website, and then just chuck in a list of 3 million industries that I came up with, and it'll turn out one perfect website a minute, and just keep going. Like, and that's just something one person can do. Now, what if everyone starts doing it? Like, where are we going to end up? So I do think the website industry is probably going to change quite drastically at some point.
Yeah, Adam.
Yeah, we. The reason I've spent so much time like jumping into this is because it's like my thought here is like, this is a wave, it's coming, and you can either be riding the wave or you can get smashed by it, right? And so I think anyone that's in digital marketing, whether it's SEO or some other discipline, I think you have to be paying attention to this. And if you don't, you're not doing yourself any favors. But where I'm seeing change, like in our business, in our processes, is the ability to like pull things back, right? We really don't have writers much anymore. All of our writers have turned into, editors and prompt engineers, right? So that's a big change. One of the things I'm sharing in my presentation is a story how I hired somebody to do branding for a client. We don't do a lot of branding, so I hired it out, right? And 2 weeks into the project, the gal gets back to me. I'm close to the deadline, and she's like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I've never done this before, but I can't deliver your project." And so at that time, I have egg on my face. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? And then I start thinking like, okay, well, I already collected questions from the client that was provided to me by this, brand style guide expert. What happens if I put those into ChatGPT and I ask ChatGPT based on this information, give me the taglines, give me, all the characteristics of the brand style guide. So I did that and came out better than probably what, this gal would have provided. Handed that off to the designer. and came up with an amazing brand style guide, and the client was none the wiser. And we've then taken that and now have that whole system automated. And so, I've been thinking, I love our team and we still have opportunities to grow, right? But also now, before I have a new acquisition or hire, I start to think like, okay, is this something that I can automate instead of hiring it out, right? And so I think that businesses have an opportunity to be more agile. And so that's, in some respects, probably a benefit to those people that either maybe they don't want to have a huge, say, agency or outfit. Maybe they want to be a business of one. So I think we're going to see more and more like, solopreneur, multimillionaires that come out of this technology and this ability. So I think and I'm playing with this idea of, instead of scaling up, scaling down, using automation to a new degree than maybe people have done or thought of before. So that's kind of where we're heading and kind of what we're paying attention to right now with the changes introduced by AI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted to get back at something Carl mentioned, that like one person is going to be just spitting out those new websites using ChatGPT or whatever tool. One thing we've talked about last time with well, it was Kyle who was talking, um, that eat is still matters. Uh, yeah, it still matters actually more than ever, because, well, Google wants real people behind each website, business, yeah, each niche website. So yeah, my question for him was something about like, what if is it a good idea to use like AI in whatever manner, whatever aspect, to like create those personas behind websites? So he went on and um, t- went on to talk about like how having real people behind each site is still relevant and will be relevant. So I think, I don't know, maybe it might change in the future. You guys know better because you've been in this industry for many years, and I have seen it change over the years. And I think you can, if not predict, but to to at least some extent, uh, forecast what may happen in the next like 5, 10, 15 years. But yeah, for now at least, there's this roadblock of real people behind each website. What do you think, Carl?
I mean, everything in SEO is gameable, and I think it always kind of will be. Like how, like with Ed, one of the things is always like, oh, you need to have a PhD or you need to be a doctor to talk about medical stuff. Like, how are you going to check that? There's no way for you to check that. And you Google a person, it's like what is that gonna do? You can fake that as well. We can create a fake persona and then get them as an author in Forbes. We've literally done this. Like, and that gives you credibility. Now you're in Forbes, presented as a doctor. That kind of confirms your information, whatever, right? So I do think it's going to be more important, but in the SEO industry, we're always going to find a way. I think Mark and Gail from Authority Hacker just released a new module on EAT and how to use like schema markup and things like that to kind of do advanced EAT. So you could say, in the website schema, you can put, all your social profiles, and this website is the same as this social profile, whatever. Do that for the authors, but also taking it a step further, saying this is tied to this, company entity. But then why can't you just use someone else's company? You look up the company database, you just refer back and connect to another established company that's been around for 14 years. Like, how are they ever going to know what's in your schema? So I do think we're always going to have, that type of loopholes, but it is definitely something to focus on.
Yeah, so it all comes down to business decisions and taking risks. Because
to some degree. I mean,
yeah.
I think the EAT is probably it's not equally distributed across all topics. It'd be harder to fake a medical degree than it would be to be an expert in, I don't know, running shoes or something like that. I mean, I'm just saying there are probably some things where it's a little the path to to, creating a fake persona or whatever is shorter. And there are some where it's going to be a little more difficult. But yeah, I think Carl's right. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, unless Google just starts saying, okay, we're not going to consider any more small, niche sites, everything's got to be from Mayo Clinic or from, Johns Hopkins or something like that. I mean, they're already kind of doing that, I mean, for a lot of things. So that's their way to sort of weed out the people trying to sneak in there with medical advice. But I think, for 90%, 95% of the topics out there, you could easily, like Carl was saying, there's always a way to game it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, funny thing that you mentioned Google. I mean, I've been mentioning it previously, but in the way you mentioned it, because I don't know, have you been following guys John Mueller for the past, I don't know, few weeks? There was quite a hubbub maybe a week or two ago where he like tweeted something that somehow, I don't know, winked at niche site builders or something, and there was an uproar in the comment sections. It seems that although like everyone wants to get, I mean, niche site owners, niche site builders, affiliate marketers, SEOs want to get this Google recognitions in terms of the search engine. The company itself doesn't seem to appreciate the people doing this. I mean, the community, I'd say, niche site community. Why do you think is this? Because you guys, people like you, are actually like doing their business a favor. You're growing it basically. So why is there this negligence from Google?
Yeah,
Whoever
for
wants
me,
to go
like, I
first.
think it's I don't know. The thing that I keep coming back to is, it doesn't so much matter in my mind how you come up with content. Like it could be, somebody out of the Philippines, or it can be AI. I think, and this has been true, I think, even before, this whole AI revolution is, you have those people that will throw up crappy, websites, and they just do the bare minimum. And even sometimes those work, right? But really the things that kind of pass Google's like BS test are those that they actually establish, what at least appears to have a legitimate brand, right? And this is where the EAT comes in. I know Kyle Roof talks a lot about like, hey, there's a lot of like affiliate site owners that don't do the stuff that a normal business would do, right? They don't have a page that's dedicated to like who the founders are. They don't have the basic stuff that you like to see on any, small to legitimate website. And so I think some of that stuff still exists. Like if all you're doing is just creating a domain with a website and you're just slamming it with content, that may work, but it's only going to work so good, so long. But if you actually treat your affiliate, or any site for that matter, like it is a business, I think that's where you're going to have more stability, And so I don't think any of that has really changed. The only thing that has changed is some of the tools to supplement the framework and the outcome. But as far as EAT goes, like, seems like it's still the same game. It's just now we have more tools to build our sites, build our affiliates, and all that stuff. But I don't know what everyone else thinks on that.
Yeah, I don't think Google's really in the wrong with this, because there are amazing, massive sites that are being very generously rewarded and treated really nicely. But they're also really high quality businesses, like Adam was saying. Like most of the kind of uproar and the complaining is coming from people who learned about websites from the make money perspective. And like, make niche sites and do this thing and do this thing, and then you're gonna rank and make money. It's like, it's not their business. They're just in it to make the money. And then it's like, oh, my website was, a year and 3 months old. It had 42 posts that I got from the Philippines, and it got hit. Google's bad. Like, no, you're bad. Like, you had a DR22 website with, 3 cents a word content. What did you expect was going to happen? Meanwhile, there are people who are, paying 10 cents a word, spending $500 on an article, doing custom graphics, building actual high quality links. The whole game changes when you're, I'd say, DR60 plus. Getting to that kind of level takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. But then when you have an actual DR60 site, like I have one, I sleep like a baby when a core update comes. I don't even check anything. I don't care. But for my other sites that are, that I know are more cookie cutter, that are in the DR30s and their content is worse, yeah, I'm worried, and I should be worried. But that's on me to kind of fix those issues and treat the site better and provide a better experience for Google's users. And yeah.
Yeah, I think I have to get you along with Jamie IF on one of the shows and have you debate this. This could be really, really interesting. All right, Rick.
What was the question about the EAT? I think I kind of addressed.
Now the Google's negligence towards affiliate sites,
okay.
niche site owners. Well,
Yeah,
from
no,
what seems like negligence.
Yeah. I'm right along with Adam and Carl on this. I mean, I think yes, there you can you can do a lot of stuff short term that's easy and quick, and you can get some quick wins. But if you're building a business, you're building a brand, you play the long game. You get some quality backlinks and quality content, and eventually Google recognizes it. You may get beat in the beginning by those guys who are gaming the system a little bit and just pumping out a bunch of crappy content, but they're going to get dinged, like Carl said, when the updates come, and then your site will stay for the long run.
I mean, even in the long term, you're gonna get slapped up and down, and you may get hit by an update. But like that's not an affiliate thing. That happens to everyone. Like there are really good e-commerce companies that get penalized and have to wait a year to come back if they did everything right. They changed nothing. But like that's not an affiliate thing. So that it kind of makes the whole argument moot.
Well, and we do mostly client side, and so we see that too. Like extremely legitimate businesses, get hit often, right? But what's the big difference? Is a lot of times, a real business is like, this is all I got, so I have to fix this, right? Where an affiliate might say, well, I got 10 more sites, so bye. I'm just going to let that one sink to the bottom of the ocean. Where you could probably go and spend some time to like revive it, get it back in Google's good graces. But sometimes it's easier just to let things go and start over if you're in that mindset. And that's, to me, that's, I guess, the core difference between a legitimate business getting hit or getting, affected by the Google dance versus, a fly by night affiliate website.
And I'll just add to that a legitimate business will also have other streams. They're going to have probably PPC campaigns. They're going to have social media. They're going to have an email drip. They're going to have going to have all that other stuff. Maybe even some offline stuff. So yeah, I mean, if they get a little SEO ding, they have those other streams to keep them floating.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you for your perspectives. I think let's take let's take a turn towards the domain ISG to take a look at. I'll share it on my screen in a second. Oh, where is it? I think this is it. Oh yeah. All right. So, and here's Rick. So.
Oh yeah, you don't have to show that. I mean, let's see what they have to say first. Then.
Anyway, yeah. So it's UpliftProgramcom. It's in where? Okay, here are the metrics. It's a 23-year-old domain, obviously an English language domain. DR25, about 300 referring domains and 7 authority links that include Cambridge.org, bodybuilding.com, theguardian.com, and other pretty sweet sites. And it previously hosted a website that covered topics on mental health, and natural psychological care. All right, yeah. So as you can see, there's Rick's domain growth blueprint on the domain page on our marketplace. You can also book a strategy call. I'll let Rick do the talk in a moment. So yeah, guys. What would you do with this domain if you owned it? How would you build it out? How would you use it? How would you monetize it?
I'm gonna let one of them go because I already chimed
I'll
in on
let
that.
Carl
But I'll
take
say
it,
I'll put in my
'cause-
two.
Okay, Carl, go first.
All right, so I went through it a little bit. It's got a really solid backlink profile, some good links, and health and kind of becoming better, self-improvement in a bunch of different industries. And look at the content it had on the site before. A few things stood out here. The free resources in the bottom. So they had like 3 essentials of successful relationships, 8 tips for happiness and optimism, something about depression and things like that. So I do think the relationship niche would probably be interesting. I know there's a lot of money in that. So things like getting over a breakup, or getting back at your ex, or finding a new basically dating advice and things like that. People are willing to pay good money for that. So that would be a very easy opportunity. But I'm a big believer that if you have a good domain, you can go pretty far in terms of the actual niche, especially when it comes to domains. So there's also a lot of opportunities of just making a kind of generic like self-improvement site. So I did see Rick, I think in the video you mentioned things like what was it called? Mind Valley. So I'm actually an affiliate for them as well. So Mind Valley has a ton of different courses in terms of like health optimization, speed reading, like all that type of stuff. That would be a interesting play. But yeah, those were kind of the key opportunities that stood out.
And the other thing I'll just mention, that I don't know, I think I mentioned in the video, is that if you are already a person who does self-help and some sort of psychology and relationship counseling, I mean, and you don't have a website, or you do have a website, I mean, you could just sort of make this your own, or build out this website and then migrate the content to your main site, and then just absorb all that link juice from that one. I mean, that was the only other thing I say. I think the affiliate play is the way to go, as Carl mentioned. But if you happen to be already in that space, like a legitimate professional who has a website, and you're doing that thing, and you're just not getting any traction with your organic reach, this would be something that would be good to build out a whole content cluster on that site, really authoritative, let it marinate on Google for a little while, and then just migrate the whole thing over to your main site.
Yeah, so probably choose like one of those angles initially, whether it's like self-improvement or relationships, then kind of do a shotgun approach where you chuck out 100 articles in different kind of mini niches within that. And then I'd probably start off with the affiliate play, but I do think in this type of niche, it might be pretty easy to make your own kind of courses, which would give you pretty good margin. I do think a lot of these courses are like Mind Valley's commission is like 50%, so you're already in a good spot. But for a lot of these stuff, you can buy a Udemy course and just make your own version of it.
A white label like kind of thing? You buy like a white label?
Hire an actor,
Yeah.
go through a course or a few of them, build together an outline, and then hire an actor to actually make
Or
it.
Adam could probably do it with AI. He could do the whole thing with AI.
There you go.
Exactly.
So, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle covered a lot of like kind of what was on my mind. But yes, same general thoughts, like depending on the approach, I think building a good, topical authority outline for the site, kind of understanding where you could build out relevancy, I think would be key. I know for us, we do sometimes leverage existing domains almost as a link building tactic, sometimes leveraging those existing domains and pointing them to client sites. Other times finding supplemental domains such as this, that might relate to a client's existing business, and then building that out, either having it as an extension of the brand. So those are the kind of things I think that initially come to mind for me, just because that's more kind of in our DNA and in our wheelhouse. Outside of that, I think most of what Carl suggested also seems to pass the sniff test for us. So
yeah, Adam just gave me an idea. It's like if you have an agency and you're kind of contracted to supply a certain number of backlinks for a client. I mean, you could acquire a domain and there you go. Like you said, that's a backlink acquisition strategy. Yeah. I mean, just, and your client said, well, you're supposed to give me 300 referring domains. Well, this website has it already. So, I mean, how much would it cost to? Yeah.
That's a tactic I stole. Maybe I'm giving away someone's secret, but Mad Singer that's all they do as far as link acquisition for clients now, is they just acquire links. And so yeah, don't think of purchasing links just for affiliates. It works for agencies too. And then the one beauty of that is you actually control that property, right? So that if your client says, hey, see ya, you still own that domain, you still own the intellectual property. Unlike if you're buying links from, third party, then, if your client leaves you don't really own that asset anymore. So
Good point.
I think this site would also make a great guest post farm for someone.
Yeah. Right.
Guest
That's
post farm.
excellent. How much could you charge per guest post for a site like that? I mean, in that niche with that authority.
60 to 120.
Okay.
Per post.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's about what I was thinking about. $100. Yep. Good. I just wanted to ask Carl too. I mean, I don't know how much time we have left, but I mean, did you?
We still do
what
have
are you
some
talking
time.
about in Estonia specifically?
My talk is going to be about site flipping. So outside of the agency and our kind of investment stuff, I dabble with my own affiliate sites. I build them, I buy them, I sell them. And one strategy that's always worked really well for me, which I think I kind of alluded to before, is buying really authoritative sites and then turning them around. And often this comes in the form of changing niches. So for example, I bought a website that was about website monetization. So anyone who would acquire it would be like, okay, we need to promote Ezoic and media buying and make deals with the ad networks and blah, 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 and talk about monetization stuff. And I was like, nah, the sites at DR 70, 70 plus, this can rank for anything. Like in Google's eyes, this is a business blog. This is a make money online type blog. So I switched it into talking about blogging and things like that. So it ended up, I think the highest we ever got was number 7 for how to start a blog, and then promoting like hosting affiliate, because the website monetization niche was impossible to actually monetize except for like display ads. So just by opening up the niche a little bit, we're doing way better with that. The same thing, I flipped that. I think we bought it for mid 5 figures, sold it for mid 6 figures about 12 months later. Wow. And then I've done this for the second time with another site, and this one was a similar deal, bought for 5 figures. Currently, it's worth more than 7 figures, and this one was about social media marketing. And everyone who's looking at it, like, that's not a great business to buy. It's social media marketing. What are you going to promote? Like Buffer, Hootsuite, whatever. I was like, no, it's an online business site. And we start doing, email marketing, landing page tools, split testing tools, you name it, we cover it. And just because of the sheer authority, now oftentimes I just publish an article and it ranks. Like I recently wrote a review about Matt Diggity's affiliate lab, and we were number 4 in 4 hours from just publishing the article.
Wow.
No internal links, didn't request the indexing, just casually ran into Matt and then checked the ranking afterwards. Like, oh, actually, I published this 4 hours ago. It's number 4. So it's going to be around that.
Nice.
To kind of broaden your niche a little bit, think bigger, and buy, instead of spending $30,000 on link building for the next year, buy a domain from Odys, buy 2, or just buy an existing website, because then if you buy an existing one, that already comes with the content as well. So when I bought the site, I had 300 pieces of content. So then I can tweak, I can modify, I have topical authority. Like, it takes care of so many problems. So that's going to be the kind of key takeaway.
Cool.
Thanks.
All right, Rick. Now it's your time to talk about UpliftProgramcom.
Well, I can watch the video, but no. So, I mean, honestly, I think I did mention both of those things already. I sort of the direction that Carl said, and Adam agreed. I mean, just take it the affiliate route in the short term, or if you do have a business already that's aligned with this type of self-help, depression, relationships. I mean, if you're like maybe like what Carl just referred to as far as sort of. Finding something in just sort of the psychology niche, maybe finding that's where the most affiliate opportunities are. So maybe this guy was talking about depression, but relationships is a better monetization path. So, just kind of take it in that direction, not completely changing niches, but just a slight nudge in a more profitable direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great idea, Carl. I'm stealing that.
Will you update your blueprint?
I might have to now.
Yeah,
That's
and by the way, if you're interested in this domain or any other domain from the Odys marketplace, you can reach out to Rick right from the Odys marketplace and book a call or ask our client support to get you in touch with Rick. So yeah,
Thank you.
he's gonna take care of your questions about any domain you might be interested in. All right, we still have a few minutes, guys, and I think I would ask Carl to tell us more about SEO Estonia, why Tallinn in particular, and what makes it special for you in particular.
Yeah, so SEO Estonia is a conference. We're literally 2 weeks away, 14 days away, August 16th to 18th. So it's going to be a 3-day conference. And it's an SEO conference. We have about 200 people coming currently from all over the world. I think about 51% of the attendees, when we last did the math, were from outside of Estonia. And then about 49% from Estonia, which is, if you haven't heard, pretty big startup hub. Like we have companies like TransferWise, they're bringing their entire SEO team. Well, probably not entire, but a ton of people, like 15 people. There's a big hosting company in the Baltics. They're coming with a big team, and yeah, it's going to be an exciting crew. We have really good speakers on. And, I think it'll be one of the highest production conferences. Like we're really putting a lot of effort into it. We have basically a professional like TV crew is going to be recording the talks. We have dedicated photographers just for the speakers for when they're on stage. So you can get that nice little Facebook header or Twitter header or whatever. We're getting a second photographer who's going to take photos with the speakers' phones. So that's literally going to be someone's job. So we're really in it to make sure everyone has a really, really good time. And yeah, the entire thing kind of. So I listened to Kyle talk about it last time, and he was like, yeah, it just kind of came up as this like strategic thing. We saw the opportunity. Well, actually, my side of the story is it kind of started as a joke, or like we were in Chiang Mai having drinks with Kyle and a bunch of other SEOs, and then the conversation started with Kyle's like, "What's Estonia like?" I'm like, "Cold," and he's like, "Oh, I want to go." And as a classic Estonian, I was like, I didn't comprehend why he wants to go. And he's like, no, I really want to go. And then he's like, we should do an SEO conference there. I'm like, yeah, sure. And then he started talking about it a little bit. And I was like, he's like, yeah, I've got an audience. You've got an audience. We could really do this. And then I started thinking about it. It's like, actually in the North, we don't really have any conferences. Like Poland is the only one in Europe that I feel like really puts in work for SEO conferences. And, there wasn't really anything for this time of the year. Sweden has a big SEO community. Finland does. Latvia, Lithuania, Germany, like none of them are doing SEO conference. So we're going to be like a 2-3 hour flight away from most of these countries, and then even from the rest of Europe, it's going to be 100 euros, 4 or 5 hours, mostly direct flights. It's an easy in for people. So,
how about for you, Adam? Is it an easy in for you?
The flight not as easy, but just so happens we're going to be traveling a little bit in Europe anyway.
Oh, good.
So yeah, it's I'll be celebrating my 20th anniversary with my wife, and so we were going to hit up Portugal for a couple days before that, and Istanbul, and then last stop Estonia. So it just happened to work out perfect, and so yeah, I'm looking forward to the opportunity.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, so that was another strategic reason behind it, because having lived in Asia for 10 years, I know everyone loves to go to Europe for summer, so it was like people are going to be around anyway. It's going to hopefully work, and summers in Estonia are the actual like one nice time we have where hopefully it's going to be warm if it's not cloudy.
And you don't have to twist my arm too much. If you know anything about me, you don't have to twist my arm too much to get me to travel to far off destinations. I kind of do it anyway. So if I have an excuse, it's all the better, right?
Yeah, well, speaking of like getting to Estonia, I've been speaking to Craig Campbell the other day, and he was complaining that traveling to Tallinn is a bitch because he has to travel to Finland first and then to Tallinn. Yeah, even I will have to go to Warsaw first and then to Tallinn. There are no direct flights from Chisinau.
Well, technically, from
anyway.
Finland, you could probably swim to Estonia. It's like it's literally a 25-minute flight, and most of that is waiting on the runway. So Craig needs to work on his cardio.
Well, he will in the second day during the bar crawl.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, guys, it was a great conversation. Thank you very much for doing this. Very, very excited for SEO Estonia. Just 2 weeks left, and if you haven't got your ticket and still thinking about it, make sure to do it. Just go to seoestonia.com and get yourself a ticket. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be very, very educational. A lot of great people speaking, a lot of great people attending. So yeah, make sure to not miss this event if you're anywhere around, or if you have a spare buck or something.
We
Yeah,
have
Carl.
2 VIP tickets left as well, and if you get the VIP ticket, you get to be in the VIP mastermind with all the speakers, with all the VIP ticket holders, and all the sponsors, which includes Odys. So you'll actually have direct access to 4 people on the Odys team, as well as all the speakers we mentioned before, myself, Adam, Craig, Vlad, Corey Tudberg, tons of amazing people. So come by.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So this is it. This was Odys Talks 12th edition. It was fun. It had a lot of great, valuable stuff. I will definitely get back to it and re-listen to particular segments. I'll be doing this either way, but still. So yeah. Make sure to tune in next time. Next time, we're going to be joined by Chris Tsitis of Sir Links-a-Lot, Sarah Santos, and Mark Webster of Authority Hacker. So, yeah, it's going to be another fun and interesting conversation. All right. So, yeah, see you all next time.
Thanks.